talk show.
A black woman created this.
Hello. How are you?
This is one thing.
What? Go get it. Go get it. This is the kind of show that we are on. We are doing live. We don't know what's happening. I was telling Kim Estes to go get his Emmy. He's an Emmy award-winning actor. We met in Colorado. And Kim, see, this is why I like live, because you never know what's going to happen. Kim, yes, hey! I love that. I love this. See, this is what we have. We're both part of the Emmy family. I'm so glad that you took the time to talk to me today. I was saying earlier while you were going to get our girl, is that I wanted to do these because I love talking to people, and I wanted to keep my spirits up because some days are better than others. That leads me to my first question with you, because I was researching you, and I'm so in awe that I know you because of just how much of life you have lived. I mean, you've gone from being, following your brother being a basketball player to getting your MBA to being an environmental engineer to being an actor. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I find that so fascinating. How did the acting part get involved in all this? Was it something you wanted to do since you were a kid? Because you've lived through so many different stages of life.
So let me try to take it in steps.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to when I was 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I was chosen out of my class in the second grade at one of the schools in the Crenshaw district, Jefferson Park. That's where I grew up, born and raised there. To be on this show called the Art Linkletter Show, which is Kids Say the Darndest Things. So that was my first brush with Hollywood. It's just a little factoid that just, it happened. And then the rest of life happened. Yes, I went to high school, grammar school, high school in Los Angeles, then went away to, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, went away with my brother to Cal State Stanislaus, Turlock, California. Nobody knows where that is.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. No, but it's in the central San Joaquin Valley.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's a little small school. They only had 4,000. It was Stanislaus State at the time, so they only had like 4,000 students in the central San Joaquin Valley, about an hour and a half outside of San Francisco.
Okay.
So I didn't know, and I just went up there and played basketball. And then the second year, the second summer, I got the job due to my stepdad in the United States Merchant Marines as an entry-level person on a ship, and we went on a tanker, oil tanker that went up and down the coastline for the summer, just to have a summer job. But it was a very lucrative summer job. At the end of the tour, he says, "Hey, you want to go to college to be an engineer?" And I said, "Yes, of course."
Wow.
Then I just went to the Maritime Academy. Now it's called CSU, Cal Maritime. It's part of the CSU system up in Vallejo, California. Graduated, took a naval commission there in the reserves when I graduated, and then went out to sea and stayed out to sea for another 14 years in the Merchant Marines. So moving all around the world, and came back to an office job in corporate. And all this time, there's no mention, other than the fact that I lived on Arlington and 36th Street Jefferson Exposition. Underneath Hollywood, underneath West Adams, there's no thought of Hollywood. So I'll get a corporate job, another 10 years, head of environmental health and safety, incident commander, head of crisis management, emergency response for Atlantic Bridge Flow Company. And then we got purchased by a larger company, by BP, British Petroleum, and then I was made redundant. I was too young to retire, so I put my shingle out to consult. During that consulting period of selling my body all over the place, selling my experiences around.
You said selling your body. You sound like you're living in Vegas. What's going on?
In my mind.
In your mind. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. We gotta talk about that too.
That's in the after. That's in the
after.
after.
The happy hour.
I had a little window, and I said, well, I lived below this town. I lived below Hollywood. Never been up there to even test it, other than the Art Linklater show when I was 6 years old. And I said, let me start off. So I got the actor's book for dummies. I opened it up, and they said, I get a headshot done. I shotgun rep. Somebody took a bite. There it started. And I got my first acting role in 2004 on a show called Commander-in-Chief with Gina Davis.
That's a story. Can I tell you? Because anywhere in the back of your mind, you were saying art, actors, I know that you were on the ship, you were saving the environment, you were doing all these amazing things for the environment, for the world, for Mother Earth. And then you come out of that and you have Gina Davis, and then it leads you to a freaking Emmy.
And the Emmy goes to Kim Estes for Yes.
You never know where life is going to take you, right?
You do not. And so when I talk to kids, I go to schools and I will talk to potential, whether they're grammar school or high school kids. Maybe they're thinking about going to college. I talk to kids from Boys and Girls Club of Long Beach, which I sit on the board of directors on. But I'll talk to kids, and when I talk to them, it's okay. I tell them it's really okay. If you really don't know, I'll ask them, how many of you know exactly what you want to do right now? And some will raise their hand, some won't. I'm going, it's okay. Because your life is strange and weird, and the longer you live it, the more experiences open up to you, the more things you're exposed to. And it just may send you in a strange direction and embrace that change. I am that guy. I am that person who just didn't know what he wanted to do when he graduated from high school. I had offers from a lot of colleges, and I had no idea. My brother took me, grabbed me by the shirt collar and said, come on up, play some basketball and take some time and take your general education requirements. You gotta take them anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and so the world started opening. I've got stories, but then after the late night show.
Yeah, the late night show when we talk about you selling your body. So how do you feel when you have this journey and you look at her every day in your home, meaning our girl here, right? Because you have what was it like for you that night when you won because of the journey that you have? Because I've known since I was 7 years old, I wanted to do this. I've always been like, oh my gosh, I've always dreamt of winning the Emmy. I want the Oscar, I want the EGOT, I want all of that. My mother took me to see my first play. It was for colored girls, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And she said that even in the womb, I was kicking in the womb. So I know. And so for you, who that wasn't in the cards for you at the time growing up, what was it like for you when you were on stage with this Emmy? You're like, I'm an environmental engineer turned artist. What was that for you? What was that like for you?
There was truly no feeling in the world like that. I think the birth of my children got me as excited. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was unreal. And also, and I know this, and you know this, is that while you may want to scream, dance, shout, rip your clothes off, you can't. So you have to contain that. The actor needs to come out.
Yeah.
You need to verbalize some form of gratitude.
Oh gosh.
And mindfulness, and you got to get it really quick because you only got the 30 seconds, right? So it's like you've got to pull that together, compose, deliver, and then jump off stage and behind the screen. So it's like, yeah, and there's no feeling like that. To be honored by your peers, there's no greater honor than that. The people who you work with, who vote for you.
Who vote for you, yes.
Who vote for you will say, yeah, right now, this moment, she or he is the one. And the gratitude that one feels, there's nothing except our talent that was exposed to them, and they go, oh yeah, nice, good work, and they vote. So to have that much gratitude inside of you, bursting, they see it in the way you go up to the stage, and they see it when you leave the stage.
This is the first nomination and win for Kim Estes.
thank you to the audience, and you can hear my family in that corner right there. Thank you to my beautiful wife Paula, my mom, my dad, my sons, Michael and Ryan, their wives, Megan and Kim Jr., and Jeff, and to Tanith, and to Ron Noble, people that have come far, far away to be with me in this moment. And I just want to thank the actors who put me here on this stage today, because they didn't give up, and they shouldn't. And they should say no less often, and they should embrace the mess, because that's what this is. Thank you very much. I love you all.
And the road up to that is difficult. So we rolled the dice. We have a 1 in 6 chance of winning. I invited the kids, their wives, and my wife, and some friends that I've known for years who have pushed me along this journey since 2004.
I watched your Emmy speech, and it was so much better than mine in the sense of, like, even though you had all this stuff going on inside of you, you just were so articulate, and you just had everything. It seemed like you had everything planned out as far as what you were going to say. And I watched mine, and I was a mess. I was all over the place. I didn't even know if I thanked my mama. I had to go back and watch it, because I was like, if I don't thank my mama, she's going to be mad at me, because she, you know, she's a stage mom, supported me my whole life. Even though I was feeling those feelings, I felt like that a little bit of that was coming out. I think I even said, Jesus be offense.
When they called the category, I put the iPhone in Paula's lap, and I said, if I can't do this in the art, I won't do it. And I set the phone in her lap, and then the category started, and they called my name. And I will tell you, the one inspiring person who went through this campaign with me, her name is Kelsey Scott. Wonderful, great actress. She was in 12 Years a Slave. And her and I went through this campaign together, and she was also nominated. She's sitting there, and she says, you have 30 seconds to inspire. She says, you can think of everybody else who's alive and dead later, but you have 30 seconds to inspire the people behind you. And that's stuck in my head, and that's what I went with.
That's a good one. I'm gonna keep that for my next win. Tony, ow. I'm gonna have a Tony here next time. I'm gonna put a Tony up. Ow. I was kicking myself for not being able to write things down, but I like the way you put it. It's like, you know what? From the heart. I really did speak from the heart. I was speechless. Another question I wanted to ask you is, you talk about being on a ship for 14 years, you know, and what's that like? And I know a lot of people are having a hard time being isolated in their homes, or, you know, being stuck inside. And, you know, it's not 14 years, but what piece of advice you can give somebody, because you're used to, not saying that I want you to go through this, but I don't want anybody to really go through this, but there's a part of you that's used to being in a closed space, because like a ship, I mean, I can't even imagine. So what piece of advice would you give people who are watching and who will watch this later, how to self-love, self-care, things they can do to get through this quarantine, because some people are having a hard time.
This pause, please use this pause as one of the things to be grateful for. Being able to read that script that you've had on your desk or in your files for 6 to 8 months, because you just haven't been able to get to it because you've been busy memorizing lines. But to be able to be here, be in the now, be present. We know what's going on here. And take that time. You're right. Use the discipline, or be disciplined, and be smart. I'm not saying this doesn't go without its hardships. Yes, do we have to figure out where our next jobs are coming from? Yes, do we have to go through all the unemployment rigmarole that takes place? If you're not retired, or have somebody who's living well because you are retired, if that has not happened to you yet, it hasn't happened to me. So you still got to go out, and you got to be creative, and you've got to do things and be ready for that next challenge that's going to happen. From the actor's perspective, embrace that.
Like my pastor would say, lean into it. So lean into it, because it's real. We have to, because the first step, like you're saying, is we have to acknowledge that it's happening, and then we have to embrace it, and then go branch out from there. And for the people that are watching and who will watch later, another thing you can add to your list is that you can watch him on an episode of This Is Us.
We'll unpack in a container for your wife.
It's a shame to let the entire lamb chop go to waste.
I'm sorry it was so last minute. She got stuck with work.
How's everybody liking Maya's purple sweet potato cheesecake?
Oh, it is delicious, Maya. I would love the recipe if you share it.
Oh, sure.
When are you gonna have time to start making cheesecake all of a sudden now?
I'd eat my hat if Marcus had time to make cheesecake.
Beth, Randall tells us that you used to work in urban planning. It's good for Randall to have someone on that type of background on his court, especially as he takes the reins of District 12.
Have a safe drive home, you two. Thank you, sir. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
What was it like working with Susan Kelechi Watson and Sterling K. Brown? How was that day for you? And how long did you guys shoot that scene or the episode? You know, 'cause this is us, it's the show right now.
I actually went in for another role.
Oh, wow.
I went in for another role on the earlier episode, didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
And then went in, they called me back in for another series, Dying Up Here. I got that role because it was a similar character than the This Is Us show. And then I got called back in for this, the president of the council.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. I mean, it's that little treat, the gift that you get for hanging around. And working with Sterling he's hilarious. What he does in the scene, well, there's the scene before the scene. So before to get us going into the scene,
yeah,
he has his way, but he has a way of bringing up the funny, right before we get started. So everybody's loose. Everybody is loose and engaged. And when it comes time to roll the dialogue,
yeah,
we roll the dialogue.
Is there anything you want to say or bring up or ask me before we go? And then I'm going to ask you about your cherry pick.
How did we meet?
In Colorado.
That's right. What were you doing?
Last night and the night before, the Netta Lavinia Grace play.
And also, what were you doing?
I was doing the Playwright Summit.
So you need to tell this audience.
Okay.
How it is that you're on stage, which I saw. You're on stage.
Yes.
And then you're on stage.
Yes.
In that next day or that next evening.
Yes.
Tell that audience, just cool them a little bit. What is the effort, the concentration effort that needs to take place for you to do that?
Yeah.
And we were at rehearsals and performances, and then you were also performing and performing.
It was a lot of outside noise had to go away, meaning not going out or hanging out. Give myself self-care, meaning I get up, I work out, I work on the play, the reading that we do, let me look at the moments there, and then I give myself quiet time, and then if I need to take a nap, I take a nap, then I give myself the hour and a half to get ready, go on stage, do the show, come home, sleep, get up early, work on our reading, go to rehearsals from 10 to 6, give myself a 1 hour break, take a little nap or get a little food in, and then go perform on stage for 2 hours. You have to really want to do this to survive it, because you have some people out there who want to be actors, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they do not realize the work and the drive and the focus, as Charmaine said, that it takes to do this. The time management part of it was grad school, because in grad school, I'm in school all day from 10 to 6. Shakespeare class, dialect class, acting class, movement class, voice and speech, all these things, all these classes that we take. And then you get done at school at 5 or 6 o'clock, you have an hour break, and then you have to go be on a show at night. And the show would start at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you do a show for 2 hours, because what you're learning how to do is implement what you're learning during the day in class on stage. And I was in grad school for 3 years, all day, 24 hours a day acting. No life, just going home for holidays, sleeping. I would sleep the whole time and come back. And so when I'm on set or when I'm on stage and I'm doing things like that, my body's used to it, because part of grad school training is you don't have a life. You're going to be here from 10 to 6 and then on stage from 7 to 10. And then you're going to go home, an hour and a half sleep, and you're going to get up and do it again and be on set at 3:30. Right. So that's it. And before you go,
yes.
Give me a cherry pick.
My cherry pick would be the Lower Depth Theater Ensemble. Now, they're going through, horrible times, and I can't send anybody there because all theaters are shut down, pretty much. But I will reserve that cherry pick for a timely space where we are free of COVID.
Well, we're gonna have to circle back.
Well, there's a little triangle of love right here.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you so much for doing this with me. It brings laughter. It brings some joy. Yes, it brings Emmy winners together.
Right.
I'm so glad you're able to be here.
And I've seen the other shows that you've done, and you have exposed a lot of people to a lot of the talent that's out there, and talent to be. So I believe you, in your heart, you're doing the most wonderful thing possible.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me because I really feel, especially during these times, that we just need to have something like this right now. So I appreciate you saying that to me, and thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's good seeing you guys. Thank you, everybody who's joining. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Holla.